different route because I'm looking for my son. But they had dogs in there, but I never once saw them come in with any type of forensic people. And Betty, after the initial day, there was a bunch of people in the house.
So what are they expecting? Because they didn't spray it, they didn't put a little yellow sign around it, then no, he wasn't there all the time. He went home in the evenings. He was gone during the day. He didn't sit there the entire time. Come on now. We've heard about him going down to the command center and getting kicked out. He was in his truck when Chris pulled into the neighborhood. He wasn't even in the house, so he doesn't have a clue what was actually going on because he wasn't involved 24/7 with it. This is what I'm trying to get. Like, they want a full CSI scene going on. Meanwhile, law enforcement was there when Seth got there. He doesn't know necessarily if they had already done that. They also had full permission. We've heard that. They've allowed them to get into everything that they needed to. We've heard how they searched his bedroom. Seth has said by the time he got there, they had already gone through his room. A week later, if you go back to the Terry Lane interview, you hear him say that they found an ATM that Sebastian had built that had his money in that ATM a week later. So obviously multiple searches had gone on, and he wasn't even there within those first 3 days. He was in and out.
Detectives, law enforcement, but I didn't see anybody, cordon offing anything to make sure nobody could go in there, dusting for fingerprints to see if there was other fingerprints.
That's another thing that's in that National Center for Missing and Exploited directive is the fingerprinting of the room. I found at the front door where they think Sebastian went out if they didn't even fingerprint.
If I'm correct, the protocol that she's talking about is outdated. I'm not sure exactly which protocol at the moment that she's talking about, but I think some of that is outdated.
There's just things here that I feel like, I don't want to say that the stuff is lost. I don't think it is, but they've got to get in there and get some of this stuff done. And I don't understand what is taking them so long. I can't, for the life of me, figure this out.
Now, would this be, for the audience? Is this where the luminol comes into play and things of that nature?
Yeah, they've been using a new product called Blue Star as opposed to luminol. But either way, it's basically the same thing. They've got to spray. You've got to black out the windows. It's a noticeable process. Like they put almost like these black trash bags over the windows. They have to have it pitch black dark inside for some of this stuff to fluoresce. Some of it's faint. So the darker it is, the better they can see. And that's why they do what they do. It also helps identify, like amino black helps identify any type of latent stuff that you can't really see.
She has watched the one too many CSI videos.
Footprints and other types of stuff that kind of, none of that has been done. And then we hear that Katie has cleaned the house. Some of that forensic stuff could have been removed from that cleaning.
So she cleaned the house. Wait, what? So we've gone from the house is always neat and tidy and organized to now she cleaned the house. When did she clean the house? When did she clean the house?
Right.
So I just got a problem, seeing these cases and knowing how important forensics are in these cases. Not getting them done up front is, to me, it doesn't feel like every stone's being turned over. Is all I'm saying.
Great.
Right. So what else, Betty? Do you have anything else?
Well, I think the only thing right now that's anything else for me is just getting everybody refocused on the real purpose of why we're all here. At the end of the day, Seth was showing a child, a child in his infant form. I mean, this is a human being that has been missing for a significant amount of time. And I really hope people take that and internalize it, because this family does need help. This child still needs to be brought home. And there's a lot of stuff going on in these cases on the internet that doesn't need to be going on. For example, the constant attacks. Is it impossible for people not to speak about Sebastian without attacking somebody? This is a 15-year-old boy that disappeared.
Shut the motherfuck up, Betty. Shut up right there. Because all you have done is attack Chris and Katie and Chris's parents. That's all you fucking done from jump in this case. That's all you have done. So what? That's all you have done. Seth's behavior is fucking strange as fuck. None of it makes sense why he's acting the way he is and doing the things he's doing. There's no evidence to prove that any of them are involved in Sebastian's disappearance, factually speaking, but you sure as fuck have attacked the ever-loving shit out of that family. From fucking jump. You harassed them in the middle of the fucking night. Creeping around out there. Fuck, oh dear.
I didn't do it. Tony didn't do it. Seth didn't do it. This child is missing.
Huh. You're part of the problem, major problem. Why, if Seth is trying to find his son, why has he done all of the chaos and purposely involved himself with the worst of the worst? Think about that. There are some reputable true crime creators, some amazing with big channels, huge ones, Judy Ron, for one, who is extremely helpful to parents with missing children because he's got the expertise, the knowledge, and partners with EquiSearch. Why wouldn't Seth go there? Why did he specifically call JLR? I need you to come film me for some B-roll footage.
You know, attacking people that are out looking and trying to make a difference and trying to help, I just don't feel it's a
You
good
know,
path forward.
Not
One
one.
of the things that kind of aggravate me on my end is that, I work in law enforcement.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Stop. Stop fucking now. Stop. You are a correctional officer, you jackass. You do not work in law enforcement. You have that title because of freaking that county and the way they name things. You are not a deputy goddamn sheriff. And how embarrassing that you continue to say you work in law enforcement while continuing to shit on law enforcement. What a shame you are behind that badge. What a shame you are to that uniform. You are a horrible representation of law enforcement. No, you're a correctional officer, sir.
And I'm the type of person that I would take 100 inmates walking across the field,
Oh,
you
shit.
know, looking for, any type of evidence or whatnot. Whether I like them or not, they have a purpose.
We don't give a fuck about your likes and dislikes, sir. Respectfully. This ain't about you. This should have been about Sebastian. All of this should have been about Sebastian. And it really fucking pisses me off that so many people have played games in this entire thing for months on end. I said it like fucking 6 weeks ago at this point in time, that it was turning into Georgia. And sure as shit, one by one, it just got worse and worse. And bad actor and deflection and games being played.
And while there are some of these people out here on the internet that are sitting there holding their shows, doing their clickbait, which I know.
By the way, you didn't have a problem with any of that clickbait when you were going on all those shows of Pascal's, T-Rev 757, Brittany J, BHB, all the clickbait. You want to talk about the clickbait, Seth? That's your team. That's your buddies. That's all you, buddy. That's every bit of you, my friend. You forget the small little whiteboard over here? Let me refresh everybody's memory. This is Seth's team. This is all of the people that Seth has been aligned with. Seth's team. Why are none of those people around anymore besides a few? Why? I wonder.
They're probably going to have this right after we end this live. They're going to be all over it. They're going to be throwing as much shade as they can at me. That's fine. It's hot outside. It doesn't bother me. I mean,
But it shouldn't be that way, is my point.
my son shouldn't be missing.
That's true.
There's a lot of things in this world that are wrong. That are just wrong. Human trafficking is wrong.
Let's talk about that, Seth Rogers. Let's fucking talk about human trafficking. Mr. She was 12 and I was 10 years older. Do you know where grooming starts? It starts in the home. You know where most trafficking happens? In the home. Ooh, Lord bless it.
No. Doing things to children are wrong. People being just mean and hateful is wrong.
What does a 22-year-old have anything in common with a 12-year-old? I'll wait.
Nobody will understand where I'm coming from.
Nope, sure won't.
When I sit there and I am upset with his mother and that whole family, it's because I don't see them doing anything.
Meanwhile, you were out with Chris searching. Meanwhile, you know that they reached out to you and asked you to work with them and do an interview, and you refused to communicate. Meanwhile, you can't control them, so you don't want to even give them credit for the things that they've been doing. That's the truth, right? Because you have no control over Katie anymore, and that really pisses you off, right?
When I sat there and I told people to kick rocks, only I used a particular other phrase that there were memes about, I told people to have off.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will work with whoever I can to try to bring and find my son and bring him home. Because he's all that matters to me.
Really? So then when an olive branch was reached out to you, when Chris saw you at the vigil and pulled in and you guys were going to work together, and then you took the very next day the opportunity to go on Peter Hyatt's and, shame Katie once again. Exactly how?
And we're going to have people out here throwing shade at me.
You're
I
fucking
don't like the way he sounds now. I don't like this. I don't like that. Well, I don't like you.
I don't have to fucking like anything about you. I think you are an absolute disgrace, period, point blank. But for Sebastian's sake, I hope you stop the bullshit and focus on your son at some point in time, because this isn't about you. It should have been about Sebastian only, and you've turned it into the Seth fucking Rogers show.
But if you get your ass up from behind the fucking computer, it's put out some flyers, man.